Hey, Jeannie Lynch, thanks for staying clicked in. We're sharing a beautiful story, my offering. I'm preparing for our offering party that's coming next week, and I'm doing my little run through, and I got all my little props set up, so I am excited to share my little story with you. Are you ready? It's a beautiful story of the missing piece meets the big O, and this is going to be my offering. And I love this story. It's a children's story, but stay watching because it's absolutely about you, and it's about everybody who's ever entered a relationship, even with self or out with anybody, whether it's romantic or not. We're talking about what we're here to do, which is relationships, and how hard they can be, right? When we're looking for someone else to fulfill us, or we're trying to fit in. And so this is a great little visualization. I'll take you through with my characters and share with you this beautiful story of the missing piece meets the big O. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, so here's my little character. We're just going to give him the name, the missing piece. And he is like all of us, right? 12, 13 years old, we're starting to break free from our mom and our dad, and we're starting to recognize that we have our own emotions, and maybe we're not so much the same as we thought we were, and we're breaking free, right? All that beautiful thing. And when relationships start and we start to just see people with a little bit more discernment, a lot of people come into our life, right, at different times. It can be a little scary. So this missing piece is like all of us in adolescence, right, starting and learning how to figure it out. And even when you're 30 or 40 years in and you're starting a new relationship, it can be somewhat like this. You feel like you're shattered in pieces and you're starting all over again. So stay with me. We're going to go through this together. So the missing piece is looking for just someone, something to take it somewhere, or for it to be part of the bigger sum, right? So my first character here, some could fit, it fit in quite nicely actually, but couldn't roll. So like, where were they going to go? So that didn't work. In the next journey in its relationship, it found one that could roll. That worked out a little bit, but it couldn't fit. So guess what? Not so much. As it continued on in its little journey, of discovering and trying to find relationships, it found one, but this one, you can't see the laying. Yeah, this one didn't know anything. Didn't know anything about anything. Didn't know anything about relationships. Didn't know who it was. Somewhat annoying, okay? And one that it met just like it, but it had way too many questions. The inquisitive mind, right? Have you ever met one of these people? They question everything you do. They're not solid, they're malleable, right? Just big question mark over their head. So we've met those people. It's okay, it's who they are, right? Maybe just not for this one. One was just a little too delicate. It's not gonna last long. One came along, and guess what? It just had too many darn pieces missing. So that didn't work. Others had too many pieces, period. So the missing piece, I'll tell you what, it's getting smart at this point. It learned to hide from the hungry ones. And it even learned that it wasn't as social as most. It was kind of a quiet missing piece. And so being social was not its strength. In fact, one thing that it did know too is that it didn't enjoy being with opinionated people or political people. That was also another bone of contention for my little missing piece. So some came, and guess what? Others just looked a little too darn close under a microscope. Looking a little too hard, right? While others rolled by, whoop, without even noticing. Some even showed up disguised as their closest friends. But we all know how that ends. And one even put it up on a pedestal. And it just left the missing piece there. Idolized him, but after all, how long can you stay up on the pedestal, right? So that didn't last long. So it decided to do something a little drastic. It tried to make itself a little more attractive, a little bling. Got its hair done, ear piercings, tattoos. That didn't help. It even tried being a little flashy, but that just frightened the shy ones away. And then along came one day that absolutely fit perfectly. This is it, right? So, finally. But guess what happens? As in all, right? We grow, we expand, we grow, we expand, we grow and expand. So, I didn't know you were going to grow. I didn't know either, said the missing piece. And again, the missing piece was alone again. I'm looking for my missing piece, one that won't increase. And so guess what? It's alone again. You guessed it. Then one day, big day, along came one that looked completely different. I think you're the one I've been waiting for, said the missing piece. Who are you? He says, I'm the Big O, says the Big O. Maybe you're the one I've been waiting for, said the missing piece. Maybe I'm missing your piece. But I'm not missing a piece, said the Big O. There's no place for you to fit. But you can go with me, if you could roll on your own. Roll with my own, on my own, says the missing piece. Well, that's crazy. I have sharp corners. Oh, says the Big O. Corners wear off and shapes change. I must leave for now, but perhaps we'll meet again someday. It was nice to meet you, missing piece. You too, Big O. And off he went. The missing piece was alone again. And for a long time, it just sat there, waiting and hoping, praying and intending. And it recognized that it was time to do some inner work. It was time to get real. It was trying to love self instead of all these relationships that it had been through. It knew what it needed to do. So one day, it struggled, but it did it. It did the work. It lifted itself up off its little perch, and it pulled itself up, right up by the bootstraps, by that third chakra. It flipped over, and guess what happened? It took a couple times, but that beautiful missing piece, corners, began to wear off. It pulled itself up again, it flopped over again, and you guessed it, its corners began to wear off even more. Lift, pull, flop, lift, pull, flop, lift, pull, flop. The little missing piece, its shapes began to change. And then it was bouncing instead of bumping, and then bumping instead of bouncing. It started to roll. It didn't know where, and guess what? It didn't care. It was rolling. Thank you for letting me share my story with you tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you to Kirk Miner, who gifted this book to me when I was 21, 22, trying to figure it out. And it's been quite a journey. Thanks again. See you next video. Please share if you know somebody would benefit from hearing that story today. Love and light in relationships. Namaste.